Winning in Hobo Holdem is not that difficult, but before I get started, let me introduce myself. I'm Arcane, and I've helped new players make billions in profits, and I want to bring even more people to the poker tables of Torn. Let's first go over bankroll management. Even the best players in the world can lose money due to bad luck, and to protect against that, we should use bankroll management. Good rule of thumb is to have 20x the max buy-in. Well, what does that mean? Let's say you want to play at the table Hobo Holdem, where the small blind is $12 and the big blind is $25. The max buy-in at all the poker tables in Torn is 200 big blinds. So to find out what the max buy-in is, we take 200 times the big blind, which is $25, and we get $5,000. So one max buy-in at the table Hobo Holdem is $5,000. So if you want to have a proper bankroll, you should have 20 max buy-ins. So all we do is multiply the max buy-ins by 20, and 20 times 5,000 is $100,000. So if you want to play comfortably at Hobo Holdem, you should have at least $100,000. And if you ever drop under $100,000 of free cash, you should drop down to lower stakes. Position is where you are sitting at the table. So you don't have to memorize all these names. All you need to know is early position means you're the first person to act, and late position means you're on the later person to act. All you need to know is that the later your position, the better off you are, because if you're in late position, you can see how your opponents react to the cards before you making a decision. And as a result, you can play a wider range of hands, which leads us to ranges. What are ranges? Ranges are basically ranges of cards that we play. We play a wider range of hands in late position while playing a tighter range of hands in early position. We play a wider range of hands with fewer players and a tighter range of hands with more players. So you can see an example of a pretty tight range. Anything red are cards that we are playing. So we're really playing aces, kings, queens, jacks, tens, pocket nines, when we're in early position at a 9 max table, meaning playing with 9 people. We're playing only very premium hands like ace king suited, ace queen suited, ace jack suited, ace 10 suited, a lot of ace x suited hands, but not really many other ace hands. We're not playing ace 10 offsuit, which is over here. We're not really playing ace 9 offsuit, ace 8 offsuit. We're only playing cards that are like king queen suited, king jack suited, king 10 suited. You can find these resources in the Discord server. Here's an example of a very wide range of hands. You can see this player is playing a lot more. There's a lot more red. You can see compared to a tighter range, the player here is playing hands like jack 10 offsuit, while the player earlier was not. So this is an example of a player in late position at a 9 max table. You don't have to memorize these charts, and it'll actually hurt you more than it'll help you if you try to memorize it. What's important is that you understand the concept that the earlier position, the earlier you are in the hand and are forced to make a decision with less information, the tighter range of hands that you should play. And the later your position, you can get away with playing a wider range of hands because you'll have an informational advantage over other players. Bet sizing. How big or small should you bet? Generally, you should make bet sizes relative to the pot. You shouldn't just bet one big blind, two big blinds consistently. You should always make bets that are relative to the pot. So you can make bets like quarter pot, half pot, 3/4 pot, or pot. Pot being the amount of money in the middle. So if a pot is $100 and you're raised by $50, you're making a half pot sized bet. Generally, the rule is you should either bet big or don't bet at all, because otherwise your bet's not really doing anything. If you're trying to make a bet and hoping your opponents call, you should bet larger and hope that they call, and not be afraid that they're going to fold. Reasons for betting can be fairly complex, but we'll keep it simple. There are 2 reasons to bet. You can bet for value, meaning you want your opponent to call you, and you have an over 50% chance to win. Or you can bet as a bluff, meaning you're hoping your opponent folds because you have less than a 50% chance of winning the hand. Always know why you are betting. It's very important that you do this. A lot of beginner players don't know why they are betting. In poker, there's also bluffing, meaning that you are putting out a bet in hopes that your opponent folds. So a bluff is whenever you place a bet and your odds of winning the hand are less than 50%. Beginners do this way too much. You should not play a hand out of the gate with the intent to immediately bluff, no matter what the community cards are. You should try to bluff when you think your opponent will fold. Good times to bluff are when you're in late position, or if you were the last aggressor, meaning the last person to make a raise, because these are signs of strength, and when you continue to bet as a bluff, you're continuing to tell the story that you're very strong. So to recap, we went over bankroll. You should have 20x the buy-in. Being in late position allows you to play a wider range of hands. Bet sizing. You should always try to bet at least half pot or higher. Going smaller does not accomplish much unless you're going for very advanced strategies. There are two reasons generally for betting. You can bet for value or you can bet for a bluff. And bluffing is generally something you should try to do less when you're a beginner player, especially at lower stakes table like Gatling Gun or Ballsy. Bluffing is really not going to get you anywhere. Players at those tables generally can just value bet. Congratulations, you now know how to lose less money. Like I always say, I encourage you to start at low limits while you apply these lessons because as a newer poker player, you can expect to lose money, so might as well keep those losses small. Good luck.